Hi, and welcome to Sask Music's Indigenous History Month interview series. My name is LJ Tyson, and I am joined today by Shannon Ray. Shannon, how are you?
I'm doing excellent. How are you, LJ?
I'm doing so good and very excited to talk with you, to speak with you, because you are so busy and you have done so much in music. I can't wait to just kind of dive into your career a little bit here.
Awesome. Well, me too.
So,
Can't wait to share.
so Shannon, you are a country music singer. How did you get involved in that genre?
I grew up in country music. I grew up, it was always around the house. It was always, part of my family. Grew up in a family band, right? My grandfather sang, my grandmother sang. My uncles would have this band called Short Notice. So growing up, I was always a part of that. Went to GX94 Star Searches, talent shows. I picked up a guitar when I was 9. My ear was always glued to CMT and to country music radio stations.
And then where did songwriting come to play a part in all of that?
It started when I was in like grade 10, as I think when I started honing in on my writing. I knew that as a young age, that I would eventually become a writer. I think it started when I was like in grade 5-ish. I remember looking at the blank page and writing the lyrics. And I remember being like, someday I'm going to do this. Hey, I'm a writer. Like it just dawned on me. And then got to grade 10. I started getting into poetry, started winning literary awards, started submitting my poems really young to publishers because my English teacher, non-Indigenous, told me that I would never, ever accomplish anything in the world of literature with me being me. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to prove you wrong. And I'm going to get my poems published. And I don't need your consent or your approval. And so I started writing poetry. When I got to university, I discovered that I loved English. I took a lot of creative writing. And then it was Errol Canistino, actually, walking through the park. I was busking actually in Victoria Park in my young university days. And he was like, why don't you put some of your poems to song? Can you play guitar? And I'm like, yeah. And then he's like, well, why don't you just mesh and fuse the two and see what you come up with? I was like early. I was like 19, 20. So it was quite a while ago. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and what a wonderful songwriter you are. And you're so right. I mean, oftentimes, as Indigenous people, we have to work that much harder to prove ourselves. And we have to, it feels like we're always facing an uphill battle. So thank you so much for being a part of that uphill battle and, proving those that doubted you wrong. I mean, and how you've proved them wrong. Oh my goodness. Like, I think you've done such an amazing job of that, especially like your music's taking you all the way to Nashville. Do you want to tell the viewers a little bit about that?
Yes. In 2015, I submitted some of my songs blindly, not expecting anything. Crystal Shawanda has always been a pinnacle. I look to her as, sort of like one of the flagships, well, the flagship, especially, in country music in the genre at the time. And she was doing a lot of country music, and she was the first Indigenous, full-blooded Indigenous woman that actually made it in Nashville. And I remember coming home from a Star Search competition because I got second. I lost to this really cool, like good-looking cowboy, but not saying anything, whatever. And so I was like heartbroken, and my mom's like, she goes out. I did not leave my room for like 3 days. And then my mom like comes in and she's like, Shannon, and this is during the summer, by the way, there was no school. My mom had Crystal Shawanda's CD and was like, don't give up. Look, she's native. She's fully native. And like, look at, she's in Nashville. There's someone there. And so when I turned, it was back in 2015. I was like, I was done my degree, and it was my mom, and she's like, you know what? Why not send Crystal some of your songs, like find out her emails, or like went on her website, and there it was, and got in touch with, her people, and sent her my stuff, not expecting anything. And then I was like, you know what? rather than, I'm going to send her the stuff, and then I'm going to take a couple of my music friends with me, and I'm just going to jump in my car and I'm going to drive there, because I am never going to know, what I'm capable of if I don't do it. And so my mom's like, "Hey girl, get your ass and, go down that highway. You know where Nashville is, you got Google Navigator in your vehicle." So I had steak nights and stuff like that. And then I got to Nashville, and it's like, okay. And then again, I was with Errol Canistino. He's always been a part of my growth creatively. And then Irene Mosquito, she was an elder and also in social work, right? So I'm like, okay, I have an experienced musician and I have a shrink, that's in social work. So I'm good to go, right? And these are responsible people, and I'm going to go on the ride of my life and see what happens. And so I did. Leaving Nashville, I got the call. "Come on back, come see us, right? We want to work with you." And that happened in 2015. Yeah.
That is so exciting. That's such an awesome story. And especially that I think you went about it in such a good way. I mean, to have an elder with you, and then to have a mentor join you. I mean, what a amazing story. If you had to pick one of your songs to show someone for the first time, which song is that?
Well,
Hard question.
I would say it is a hard question. There's so many good songs, that, and by the way, all my songs are true. I've lived all of them. So, and that's another piece of advice that I got out, if you're going to be a songwriter, write from your heart, write what's legit, right? So I was like, okay, so there's this one song that I was working on, and I finished it. I just sent it off to Nashville a few weeks ago, and it's called Reckoning, and it's a very powerful song, right? And that's, hopefully it gets produced, and I'm looking forward to that. But I gotta say, Reckoning is one of my most proudest works, because it's a song about resilience. It's a song about moving on, and there's a storyline to it, right? And it really speaks to, coming from First Nations, that matriarchal power, right, within yourself. And then so many social issues and trauma, it's all sort of in the song, right? But at the end, the character in the song is empowered, and like, yes, there's going to be a reckoning, right? And it's in my heart, but I'm not going out weak, I'm going to rise up and be strong. So it's a song that speaks to that, and it's new. So I'm really excited, for my fans to listen to that song. And if it makes radio, fingers crossed, I would love, for the world to really see that. My second proudest song, I gotta say, would be Broken. And that one is sort of similar to Reckoning, but Broken was modeled after a couple friends, right? At the time that I thought, but I looked at it and it's like, hey, that song Broken is actually about me. You get those moments and you're like, that ran parallel the time, but you didn't really know it at the time. So though, I gotta say, those are my first top two picks. And Reckless is the third, but Broken's pretty cool. Yeah.
Well, I count myself among your fans, and I can't wait to hear Reckoning. Where can people keep up to date with all your music happenings?
They can keep up to date. I have a Facebook page. It's Shannon Ray. I also have a website. It's Shannon Ray 87music.com, I believe. But yes, my Facebook page is one of the main platforms. I'm also on Instagram. I'm working on getting a, what do you call those, Spotify accounts?
Yeah.
I'm figuring out the whole pandemic, I'm getting into TikTok too. I'm like trying to figure out TikTok, and but mainly my main platform right now is Facebook, and I do have a music page, and my website is listed on there. So it's Shannon Ray, ShannonRae.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Shannon. I know you're super busy. I mean, year end, you're a teacher. So thank you for taking the time to do this interview with me.
Thank you, LJ. And if there's any more questions, just fire them away. I'm excited, and yes.
Perfect. Well, let me ask you this last question here. We actually, I did an interview with Raven Reed, and she suggested you as an artist that everyone should go out and listen to. Who would you go out and suggest people go listen to?
I would say Raven Reed too, because she's my sister. We support each other, right? We've been, we did a couple small gigs, and we always seem to cross paths, like in festivals everywhere. But there's this really good artist. He's also signed to our label. Like or he was, like he's working in what do you call, partnership with our label. And his name is Forrest Lee, and I think they're a duo, I believe.
Oh yeah, North Sound, Forest Eagle Speaker.
North
Yeah.
Sound,
Yeah.
that's it. Yes. I've heard some really great stuff about him. I've also, been sort of like following them. Once they started working with Crystal, I was like, like this was before the pandemic, right? Pandemic kind of, mess things up a little, I'm sorry to say, but that's over now. And now, like, all of us artists are like getting back into the groove, and that's really exciting. So I would say check out North Sound. I heard that song, I think it was like Keep It in the Ditches or
Between the
something like
Ditches,
that.
yeah.
Between the Ditches.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that. And I was like, hey, that's a really cool song. I like songs that are double entre, that have double meaning, right? Literally, the ditches. And then, it's like, that is brilliant. And I was like, who are these people? Who are these artists? And through the pandemic, I kept a close eye on them, and I was like, check them out, because they're pretty deadly. They're cool.
Awesome. And everyone, please, please, please go check out Shannon Ray. Such exciting stuff coming up in her career. Shannon, thank you so much.
Yes. And I also have a new album like this summer in July and August. I'm going to be flying to Nashville. I'm going to be finishing a lot of work on some new music. The pandemic sort of stalled it, but now that the borders are open and we can travel again, and I'm getting back to work. So, there's going to be some new singles, there's going to be some new albums, there's going to be some new music videos, coming down the hack. And I'm really excited to be sharing, that with you all.
Perfect. I couldn't have said it better myself for you. Thank you so much once again for taking the time out of your day, and hope to see you at a show soon, Shannon.
Absolutely. We should like hang out.
Let's do it. I'm down.
And let's chill.
Let's write some music together.
Right? I'm open. I'm totally open for co-writes. Like writing, I love.
Awesome.
Absolutely.